What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing fantastic as always. We'll be continuing with our animation that we created, but we didn't assign it to be usable, so let's take care of that part. Now, this is a little bit more complicated, I think, than anything we've handled so far, so just keep that in mind if it takes a little bit more effort to follow. That being said, I'll try to make it as quick and painless as I can. Now let's go ahead and get started here. We have our animation. You can use any animation. We will be using the one we previously made here under our meshes. It is called the YouTube animation sequence. It is a little greeting that looks like this. And I don't know, it amuses me. Now, what we need to do is navigate out of this for now and back to our all. We're going to go into content, characters, mannequins, let's see here, animations, and we're going to go to the ABP Manny, which is Animation Blueprint Manny. So we're going to go ahead and open this, and that brings us to this screen, which we will need to do some work in. So what we're going to do first is create a new variable to keep track of. We're going to create a Boolean variable, which is simply a true or false statement if you're not familiar. And we're going to name this animation 1, since it's kind of an ambiguous. And hit compile and save. We're going to leave here. We're going to back up. We're going to go down to our third person folder. We're going to go to our blueprints. We're going to open our blueprint for a third person character. Now what we're going to do here is make another variable. We're going to call this B animation 1. And we're going to go down to the bottom here in our blueprint. You can put it anywhere you want, it doesn't matter. And we're going to right click to bring up this menu. And we are going to look for one key. So I just put the number 1. I'm scrolling around looking for the one key here. Here it is, keyboard events, one key. So we want to say when the one key is pressed, we're going to drag this out, set it, and drag our arrow or our noodle, or our wire, whatever you want to call it. I like wire. And we're going to set this Boolean to true whenever it is pressed. And whenever it's released, actually, we'll do delay of 0.2 seconds. When that's completed, I'm going to hit Control C and Control V. We're going to set this Boolean to false. A little messy, but it'll get the trick done. Now we're going to go over here to this Boolean. We're going to set it as instance editable. Okay, well, we're going to give up on saying that word and hit compile. Now we're going to go back into our ABP Manny blueprint. Alright, so what we're going to do is drag this wire from as BP third person character, and in our search we're going to type make sure we're in the search. We're going to type animation 1 and we're going to type get, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag this out. We're going to look for set, and essentially we are going to set them equal to each other like that. Then we can just copy paste this. In a minute, we're going to add a pin right here, and then go down here and connect it like that. And our object will be this character. So what this is doing, let's explain it, is basically assigning variables we create when this character initializes, so when it's created. Now this runs on update. So we have our initial value and we have every update. So we're changing it like that. Alright, now that we have a value and it's being changed when we press the 1 key on the keyboard, let us go to the next part, which is going to the animation graph. And what we're going to do is go into the main states, and we're going to go here in locomotion. We're going to just drag to a new state. This new state is going to be called animation 1. And we're going to have a little arrow here. Now, if you're not familiar with state machine logic, that is what we're dealing with here. If you are, fantastic. It's pretty simple. This is how a lot of things in real world work. I'm not going to give you a lecture on that at the moment, but essentially we exist in one idle state, which is locomotion, and then we transition into other states with the goal of either exiting the loop entirely and shutting down, or returning to idle. So what we are going to do for our entry condition to animation 1 is double click this, go down here to our animation 1, select the get, and we're done for this. Compile. Let's hit the back arrow, and we're gonna hover over the animation 1 box and drag back to locomotion, go to the top transition, drag again, get, and from this we're going to go to an empty and type in boo not. We want the not boolean, and what this does is it's going to take the inverse of this, and so this is saying if boolean is not true, it can enter transition. So this is how we're going to get back and forth, but now we actually need to finally play the animation. So we're going to double click our animation node, and down here in the bottom right we have our YouTube animation sequence. We can just drag and drop that in, drag and drop it over, connect the nodes, click compile, save, and let's go ahead and hit play. We have our lovely Glenda here, and she's going to do the little wave for us. Now here the problem is the animation isn't playing all the way through because we're not giving it enough time before we switch the boolean back to false. So let's adjust this delay to, let's say, I don't know, 2 seconds. Ideally this would be the exact length of the animation. So now you can see the animation is playing all the way through on our metahuman Glenda. Sorry, Glenda. Well, I believe that brings us to the end of our video. If you were able to follow along and recreate your first animation, or maybe not your first, but a new one, hopefully I have earned your like, comment, or subscription today. I hope you enjoyed the video, you learned something. Alternatively, we also have a Patreon if that's your thing. Either way, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.